Bueno, estamos con Koann, que es la creadora de Sustainable Brand. Es la creadora global, es la que tuvo la idea maravillosa que estamos viviendo hoy en Argentina y en el resto del mundo. Así que, well, I have the pleasure to be with you, Koann. I feel like proud to be with you
Oh, that's so silly. I'm
here.
proud to be here
Thank
with you. So,
you. Oh, thank you so much, Koann. And well, tell us a little bit about your experience here, or what you're living in Sustainable Brands Buenos Aires these
okay.
days. And
Well, I'm very excited to see the continued growth in the audience here and the excitement about the conversation in the midst of a complicated economic environment, I think. I always find that I learn new things when I come here, and that's inspiring for me.
wow. And what do you think are the global challenges nowadays? Now that you have a global view of,
Yes.
you are in many countries, so and you show many leaders that speak about sustainability. So, what is your impression about our sustainability challenges today, for example?
I think that the answer to that is reflected in the initiative that we launched this year about redefining the good life.
Mm-hmm.
The obstacle that I sense is that we are still operating globally under a broken paradigm about what the good life looks like. And I believe that there is an emerging consciousness that is mainstreaming about this issue, but that we don't have an alternative vision to drive towards collectively. So what we're trying to do over the next 3 years is help surface what we think is already emerging around what we as humans really understand to be the things that contribute to a good life, and to think about how that impacts the redesign of our economic systems, specifically what brands produce and sell. And I think there's a lot of opportunity right now in that conversation.
Uh, and what do you see about feminism? Because it's a problem around the world that we don't have equality.
Mm.
I don't want to touch a subject that is sensitive, but
It's important to you,
we
and it's an
have
important
to.
conversation. Yeah. I think you had two questions there, but I'll speak to the feminist question if you want. That's the one that's of most interest to you. I've been very cautious about getting involved in that conversation because one of the things that I believe that women have to offer the world is an understanding that there are strengths and values inherent in everyone, regardless of race or gender
Yeah,
or
of course.
regionality and
We're
all of those
all
things.
human here.
And
Being.
so for me, talking about feminism is framing a conversation in a traditional paradigm. So I'm more interested in talking about the feminist traits and the rise of the feminine rather than rather than women's equality. And I think personally that one of the things that hinders women from being successful is um, thinking that there's that opportunity is somehow outside their own control. And I believe that if we are to believe in ourselves and to come from a place of appreciative inquiry where we learn to appreciate, recognize, and tap into those strengths that are unique for us, that we will have no problem competing. That has been my experience in my professional life. I've been in the business world since I was out of college, and many years. And I started at the bottom of an organization in an entry level job, and worked my way up to be a senior vice president of a multinational before I started my own company. And I have never felt that anybody was impeding my own capacity other than my own sense of confidence and clarity on my vision. So I think that's the thing that holds women back more than anything is
Yes, like the
their own self-confidence.
graceful feeling.
Yes.
Like we think that we have like a top here, and
Yes.
we cannot think more or imagine that we can create or evolve.
Yes, I think I've just never been handicapped by seeing limits. I and so
Wow.
I think that if you see limits, you will experience them. If you don't, if you choose not to see limits, you won't. Um,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I will say that I've had a more awareness of the structural impediments to being an entrepreneur as a woman than I did when I was in my corporate life. Um, but I've worked in the sawmill industry when I was in my 20s, and I can tell you that I was, well, starting from in college, I worked at a tomato cannery where everybody that I worked around was Hispanic speaking men, and I was the only white woman in the um, in the company. And again, I just found that if you continue to be your authentic self and have confidence in your own personhood, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman, that you are not limited.
yeah, because um, uh, women it's have our own limitations.
Self-limiting. We can be
Yeah,
self-limiting. Yes.
yeah,
And I mean, I don't know why I have not felt that way, because I do recognize that there are a lot of social constructs
yeah,
that do speak to a woman's place.
yeah,
But for whatever reason, I just have always been so much more conscious of my interest in my vision for my purpose and what I want to do in the world. I just that has been the thing that's driven me more than any consciousness of my gender or my background or anything.
yeah, yeah.
I
It's
mean,
very important. You're
yeah.
an example, really, because um, and what do you think about competence in between women? Because I see here, maybe in Spain, women are like more united, or feminism groups.
Mm,
I'm experiencing something great that is women united.
mm,
Not competing, because I think it's a social construction
yes.
from men, from
Well,
another area of the economy.
yes, I don't choose to see it that way. I see it as the construct of the world environment of the last couple of probably several hundred centuries. Certainly, men were in positions of influence then, but I see it more as a function of just the strengths that were needed to succeed at that time in history. I think women are biologically more connected, between their left and right brains. They have more pipes between their left and right
Yeah,
brains, and as a result of that, this is obviously a generalization, but as a result of that, we tend to be more natural systems thinkers and to be
yeah,
inherently
that's it.
capable of balancing emotion and rationality, which is an incredible gift at this point in our history.
Yeah,
We don't need brute strength anymore to save ourselves from, the dinosaurs attacking,
yeah.
right? And which
As
was,
Joan Melet talked about that.
yes,
We have
yes,
another era.
yes,
We
exactly,
don't have to compete
yes,
between women and men, or
right.
men.
But that's, or men and men. It's not a function of um, again, gender or
Yeah,
any other thing. So I'd rather talk about it as it's supporting the feminine into the world, because my personal feeling is, again, having a conversation in this way frames it in a way that we have historically framed all of our conversations, and it denies the strength that women have the potential to bring into the world, which is to remind us that we are all needed, and it's not women banding together or against men or any religion,
no,
or
no, no, no. We are all one.
we are all one. And that's what I
That's
would
it.
like to see women recognize. That I would like to see them using their inherent skills to further that message rather than trying to further their own
Yes.
category.
So the one of the most challenges for you is feminism, for example, or not feminism, but women leadership, for example, or because we are not educated to be, we are leaders in our families, but we are not accustomed to think about ourselves in companies, leaders in companies, or leaders in NGOs, or leaders in government, because the statistics shows that it's a fact. That
It is a fact, but I also think that that's a self-limiting frame.
also,
You know,
yes, of
I
course.
mean, I don't have a college degree, and yet it has not
Really?
stopped me. No, I mean, I came within a half a semester of a second semester general ed class from finishing my degree, and I finished major work in four majors. But I started working, and my career took off, and I just stopped going to finish that um,
Wow.
that last class. And
Wow.
you know, there have been times in my life where I've let myself think that that could be a limiter for me. But in fact, you know, my choice to go into a work environment that allowed me an incredible learning opportunity, so much far beyond what I ever learned in a classroom, it was the right choice for me. And um, you know, I've had people from graduates from Stanford and Harvard and MIT and others working for me over the years. And what I've
Wow.
found is that sometimes, you know, people who come up from a very highly structured academic or learning environment are
Yeah,
very accomplished in
like limited.
accomplishing things within a certain box. But I don't
Yeah,
have a box,
yeah,
so you
that's
know, I managed to become a senior executive on a board of a multinational company. I started divisions of companies. I was the fast my division that I started the second half of my career was the fastest growing, most profitable division in the company for 10 years in a row. And
wow.
it's not because somebody told me or taught me how to do it. It's because
You
I
had
am
the
a
vision.
problem solver.
You
Yes.
have the vision and the
Yeah.
capacities.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we have to not, you know, I have so many differently abled friends. One of my close friends now, I don't know if you watched any of the live streaming from our conference in Detroit.
No, I think not.
Okay, if you choose to,
I will.
we had an absolutely amazing friend of mine who's has Lou Gehrig's disease and is very paralyzed, and yet is having absolutely incredible impact on the world, serving on presidential councils for design for differently abled people. And you know, again, I think it's all about your how you choose to orient yourself in the world.
Yeah.
Everybody is differently abled. I don't care who you are, what
Yeah.
gender, what. Um,
Yeah. Everybody has a gift.
that's correct.
Yeah.
So,
So
so
well,
as women, I would like to call us all to that conversation and let us put down the chip on our shoulders about not having it easy. I'm so grateful that I wasn't born in Syria. You know, I'd much rather be a woman that you know without a degree than a man that was born in Syria today. For example, we need to practice gratitude because
yeah, of
anytime we don't
course.
practice gratitude, we're losing energy for productive, generative impact in the world.
And what do you think are the most important challenges that we have from now on?
Well, again, I think it's surfacing this emerging sense that what we collectively aspire to as what the good life looks like, and then figuring out how to design a new economy around that is where we are. And I think we have it's the right time. We have enough people in the business world who understand the market drivers, both in terms of environmental resource limitations and impact, as well as this shift in social consciousness. And then the consumers are also becoming more aware. So as more parts of the system become aware of the problems and a shift in aspirations, we can begin to align the system around a better way of visioning our future and delivering it.
One of the most important things that has this event is that the systemic view.
Right.
For me, is
I mean, this is the
the
future.
only one.
It is the only one, and it's always been the only one. It just hasn't been necessary to to be really competent in up to this point. We've historically lived a fairly simple life, and we've had unbounded resources. We no longer are in that situation as humans, and so dealing with complexity that is exacerbated by both population growth and also digital technology and the rate of change that technology brings to us is absolutely mandates that we become exceptional systems thinkers, which is
Yeah,
again a role that women have to play in the world. So let's
yeah.
focus on that, and use our inherent talents for good and be grateful for them and for the opportunity that we have to lead world forward.
Thank you very much for your time, Koann.
It's a pleasure.
For me also,
I'm so
really
proud of your passion and want to encourage you to
uh,
continue to follow your purpose and really want to encourage everybody to do that. That's how the world is going to get where we need to go is everybody tapping into their core reason for being here.
thank you, Koann. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.